increase the value of your estate, and help leave the legacy you want. Plus, call Great Lakes Investment Advisors today and they will include a complimentary Legacy Maximizer at 989-835-7203. That's 989-835-7203. This commercial shall in no way be construed as solicitation to sell securities or advisory services of any state other than Michigan or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through Great Lakes Investment Advisors, a registered investment advisor in the state of Michigan.
WSGW News Time, 9:08. The weather forecast is next. A woman has been charged with threatening the Paw Paw Schools District. Lisa Nam is charged with a false report or threat of terrorism and using a computer to commit a crime, according to the Van Buren County Prosecutor's Department. School officials say the threat was posted to social media Tuesday. If convicted, Nam faces up to life in prison. Shortly after the governor signed gun reform legislation dealing with safe storage and universal background checks, the state house approved another key package of bills dealing with gun safety. Here's news reporter John Hewitt.
So-called ERPO legislation would allow a firearm to be taken, at least temporarily, from an individual if a court finds that they are an immediate risk or threat to themselves or others. Among those arguing in favor of the legislation on the House floor was Okemos Democrat Julie Brixey.
Simply having ERPO on the books will increase reporting of threatening behaviors.
Among those opposed was former Livingston County Sheriff and current Republican Representative Bob Bizot from Marion Township, who spoke of his concern of law enforcement members being put in harm's way confiscating guns.
We can't even fill the slots that are open in many of our communities. And now we're going to ask these officers to go to somebody's door and take guns away without due process.
In the end, the ERPO package passed the House on a party line vote of 56 to 51, now making its way to a House Senate committee before being forwarded to the governor, who has promised to sign the bills into law.
The Michigan Court of Appeals will hear an appeal filed by former Grand Rapids police officer Christopher Schur, who's charged in the shooting death of Patrick Lyoya last year. Schur claims the second-degree murder charge should be thrown out because Michigan common law gives officers the right to use deadly force against a fleeing felon. Prosecutors say Schur was not justified in shooting Lyoya. WSGW News Time, 9:10, and now here is WNEM First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Sunny for today. Highs top out near 80 degrees. Winds south-southwesterly 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight it becomes mostly cloudy. Lows drop to 56. Winds turn to the southeast around 5 miles per hour. Saturday, partial sunshine is possible at times. Highs head back to around 80. Winds south-southeast 5 to 10. Saturday night, mostly cloudy. Chance for rain developing or building into the area after midnight. Lows fall back to 60. Winds remain south-southeast 5 to 10. And then Sunday, rain chances continue. Storms also possible during the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Phil Jensko with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Right now it's 63.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. From around your block to around the world, The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com. The Art Lewis Show is presented by Westside Decorating Center.
Yes, indeed. Westside Decorating Center, 5789 State Street in Saginaw. Newly expanded showroom and newly expanded product lines, too. Stop in and visit them. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, Bill Harmon's going to be here to talk about Saginaw on Stage this weekend. At 11 o'clock, Bay City Players will take front and center on Focus. But for this hour, a more serious topic. And that has to do with gun safety, gun laws, gun control. And we have with us this morning a retired police officer who has a company called Secure Solution. He is also an NRA trainer and does CPL classes and the like. And he's a good friend. We've known him for quite some time. We say hello to Henry Reyna.
Good morning, Art.
Morning, Henry. As you well know, it seems like almost every day we hear the news, another shooting someplace. And what it does is it promotes governmental bodies to immediately jump to the gun control routine. So let's talk about gun control that works and gun control that doesn't work.
Well, yeah, let's talk about it. First thing is, number one, we're not going to legislate this problem of active shooters from occurring. All these laws that just been passed, they're not going to do anything to reduce the response of people wanting to create these horrific events in our schools, universities, and workplaces. Boom, number one.
Let me stop you there. That's I want to stop there just for a minute, because my next question would be, what can we do to harden those buildings? And can you harden them to the point where you don't? Henry just held up a sign.
I threw up a
they
sign.
can see it on stream. It says locked doors. Huh?
It says access control. The number one thing that anyone can do to their building or anywhere else is lock your doors.
Man, includes your house, right?
Yep, absolutely. So I was just at a golf resort with a friend not long ago. Very, very affluent golf resort, and access control was number one. You did not go in there unless you were a guest, unless you had a band on your arm and it was a certain color. Access control, access control, access control. Anytime we see these cases occurring, it's because someone had access to that location. Gone are the days that our schools and universities and large facilities should be unlocked and people should be able to walk just into these buildings unsecured. Shame on us.
There's been also talk, we'll come back to gun control in a minute here, but I want to stay on the schools for a minute. There have been proposals to arm teachers. There's been proposals to put ex-military, ex-police armed in school buildings. Where do you stand on it?
I stand on giving our school officials more assets so they could have those possibilities to make our schools really safe and secure. You know, what came first, the chicken or the egg? The debate is ongoing. And that means, to me, we need to give them money so they can go out and buy that chicken so they can have the egg. And I'm friends with a lot of teachers. I've worked with a lot of educators in the Saginaw school districts, and I've heard the feedback from them. They're there to teach students. They don't want to be able and have a responsibility for all these other things. Some do. Some want that additional training. So we've got to find the sweet spot of what can we do with these teachers, but we can train them to do an awful lot more, and they're not currently getting that training. You know, they're getting a vague idea that they should be doing something, but no real details of what's lawful and not lawful, and what are the benefits of this tool versus that tool, and on and on and on. And that's how I separate my training from all the other trainings that are currently out there.
Would you arm it? Would you ever see the point where you would arm teachers?
No, it really takes too much training, and there's so much more that we could do on the front end of that with regards to real strict access control, visitation to the schools, real restrictive door securing, and on and on.
And the other side of that,
more.
and we'll get into this later when we talk about individuals with weapons, but there is a certain danger if you arm a teacher. When police rush into a building, their adrenaline's a mile high.
Oh yeah, yep.
And they don't know who the shooter is, who the shooter isn't.
Right.
And that puts an armed teacher in danger to some degree, doesn't it?
It does. And that's why there's so much more to do on the front end. You know, like for instance, there's a bond proposal coming up here for the Saginaw Township School District. They're asking for
$242 million.
$242 million. I've seen some people, you know, their eyes just go crazy when they say that number. Yeah, that's a large number, but they're not asking you to pay $242 million. They're asking you to pay a simple amount based on the value of your house. And so the most of the people in Saginaw Township are going to be paying per month, possibly in the neighborhood of $23. Who doesn't have an extra $23 to make sure that we have the best school district in the state of Michigan? My goodness, we have to invest in our community if our community is going to be valuable.
That includes hardening those buildings.
Yes,
when they rebuild them.
A big part of that, as I've read off their website, is going into safety and security. Again, what came first, the chicken or the egg? let's give our school officials the money so they can go buy that chicken and make us a world-class school.
Would you think it's wise to put trained people in the schools, ex-military, ex-police, as guards, armed guards in a building?
I would say yes, but then again, to make that happen, we're really going to have to outfit the schools with the money, and we could, retired police officers. There's so many options that we could put in there, but we need more than just a vague plan that we should be doing something.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. We're talking to Henry Rayner. We're going to talk more about gun control when we return here on the Art Lewis Show for this Friday already.
Homeowners, Bob Wilsey of SunTech Wind and Solar here in Standish. Are you looking for energy independence for your home? You should be. Michigan utilities are closing their remaining coal plants soon, resulting in more power outages. Home solar with battery backup not only provides power during the grid outage, it reduces your light bill every day the sun shines. Unlike a generator, it just sits there. I'd love to show you how it all works. Come visit us at 319 South Main Street in Standish or visit us at suntech-windsolar.com.
Liven up the look of your home this summer with the help of Warden Interiors of Frankenmuth. Hi, this is Marianne, and nothing brightens up the interior look of your home more than beautiful new flooring. And right now we have all the most popular styles and colors of carpet, as well as wood and tile with beautiful patterns with a very natural look. Warden Interiors also does custom laminate and solid surface countertops, including the Cambria Quartz solid surface and Corian that everyone is talking about. Even new window fashions will give your home a breath of fresh style for summer. We have all the new Hunter Douglas window treatments that help keep the harsh sun rays and heat outside where they belong. Warden Interiors features Duet Arcatella shades with the best UV protection in the industry. There are so many ways our expert design team can make your home into a showplace. It is a breeze to refresh, rejuvenate, and restyle your home for summer. So come in and visit us. Warden Interiors on North Main Street in Frankenmuth. We'll help you bring it all together.
Welcome to retirement. Now, replace your paycheck. To local financial coach Kevin Ray, this is what retirement planning is all about.
Building monthly paychecks. And how you build those monthly paychecks is going to determine how well in retirement you're going to enjoy it. So sit down and build a good framework, and it starts with income.
So build your framework with Kevin and the team at Insight Folios today by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
JP Morgan Chase shares are up 6% after the nation's largest bank reported a higher profit and revenue in the recent quarter. CEO Jamie Dimon says the U.S. economy continues to be on generally healthy footings. Consumers are still spending and have strong balance sheets, and businesses are in good shape. Though Dimon says the storm clouds the bank has been monitoring for the past year remain on the horizon, and the banking industry turmoil adds to these risks. PNC Financial, a super regional bank operating across 27 states and Washington, D.C., reported stronger earnings than forecast. Its stock was beaten down over the last month, but it is higher this morning. And Wells Fargo and BlackRock Financial's earnings were also upbeat. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosolda, invested in you.
Democrats just want to win the next election, and they're trying to do it with ceaseless money printing. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon. It is critical to protect your retirement right now with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get a free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. There's nothing to buy and no obligation at all. Text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get a free info kit on gold.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Time to play WSGW's Baseball Bucks, presented by Westside Decorating Center. Right now, you can qualify to win the daily cash prize of $1,000 by entering this baseball word online at WSGW.com. And the word this hour is Diego, as in the San Diego Padres, Diego. Alpha Media Company-wide contest must be 18 or older to play. One winner chosen each day. Complete rules at WSGW.com. Baseball Bucks, presented by Westside Decorating Center on WSGW.
I'm Scott Trout, attorney and CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. We help men deal with the life changes triggered by divorce, such as child custody and property division, among many others. But life changes also occur after divorce. These changes can make parts of your existing court order irrelevant. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell. We're a partner men can count on.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Detroit area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor. CordellCordell.com.
Hi, this is Mike Avery. You know you can hear my outdoor magazine show Sunday mornings, 9 till noon on WSGW. But now there's another option. Saturday morning, 6 till 9. Tune in for the latest outdoor news and information, hunting and fishing tips, wildlife and conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. That's Outdoor Magazine now on Saturday mornings too, 6 till 9, right here on WSGW 790 AM and 100.5 FM.
All right, we're back with you in studio with me, Henry Reyna with Secure Solution. Henry, a former police officer, retired now, and also a trainer, CPL trainer and firearms safety expert. Talking about school safety, gun control, and all of those things. Let's go back to where we started in gun control, because the state has passed a couple of laws and is passing red flag laws next. Let's take a look at these individually. First of all, the storage requirements. And I have to tell you, and I'm a Second Amendment believer. I have guns. I shoot. You trained me. I don't have that much of a problem with the storage law, to be honest with you, because you go into my house, everything's locked up.
Yeah, me neither. And I've been saying this for years, long before President Biden started talking about it. Safe storage. Locally, I've had Channel 5 and 12 reach out to me when they have these events here locally, where people in the Great Lakes Bay region have suffered the loss of a loved one because someone had an unsecure weapon. And we started talking about it because it hits home then, because this just happened in the backyard.
Right.
We've needed these laws long overdue. We're responsible for these tools. If we have them, we've got to be held accountable. They've got to be locked up.
Then the other one that passed was the universal background check. What does it change?
It's not going to change anything for me, and I don't think it's going to change anything for you or any of the other people that I consult with.
And here's what it's missing. And you talk to any FFL, federal firearm license holder, they will tell you the flaw in the system is the mental health component. Because on the form to purchase, there's only one question about it, and it asks you to answer it honestly. And if you do, fine. If you don't, it tells you that if you lie, it's a felony. But the reality is they only ask whether you've been adjudicated in a mental health issue. Beyond that, the licensee who's selling you the gun can't check your mental health status because of HIPAA laws.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the flaw. The flaw is we can't in any way intercede with someone who has mental issues to prevent them from buying a gun legally. And these recent shootings, people have all bought those guns legally.
Yep.
And that's the flaw in the system. And I don't know how to fix that. I thought at one time maybe we should have a question or a box that says you waive your HIPAA rights by applying for this CPL. But I don't know.
So, I've done some work with a couple of agencies here that deal with mental health illness. And I know we're not going to use a proper vernacular. So please, all your listeners out there, please excuse us. Our knuckles drag on the ground. But the conversations that I've had with these professionals is, number one, is they're practicing medicine. And no one's ever been cured. On a good day, they can manage and curb some people's personalities. But at any given point, that person under treatment can stop taking the treatment, and that's what we're left with.
How often do we hear of someone with mental health problems deciding not to take their medications anymore?
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, the background checks, they're tweaking them a little. It's not going to make much of a difference on what we're talking about here with these events happening in our society.
The one that raises red flags is the red flag law.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
And I've seen nationally jurisdictions that have implemented these red flag laws, and they do make a difference. They make a difference to make the community safer. They make a difference to give tools to jurisdictions, law enforcement agencies to help people that are transitioning during difficult times in their lifespan, when they shouldn't have these tools in their home because they're going to make the wrong decision. So yeah, long overdue.
From that standpoint, I understand it. My worry is someone that would use it as retaliation against someone. And I think there should be penalties for those that would do that. I don't like Henry's shirt color, so I go to a judge and say, Henry's dangerous. He said some things. He's got to be,
He's wearing a red shirt today.
He's wearing a red shirt today, and take away his gun. I think there needs to be some consequence for people that might misuse the law.
Yeah, I think there's going to be more of a threshold than what we're being told right now. It's not going to be as easy just to wave your finger and point at someone.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
I would hope not.
But the safe storage, the background checks, the red flags, all this, yes, we've needed these changes. Thank goodness these legislators put a lot of time and effort into them, but they're not going to affect the active shooter events that we're seeing in our community.
That's the other side of it. I mean, we have these laws.
Yep.
They'll certainly help prevent accidental shootings.
Yep.
And things of that nature.
Yep.
But they're not going to stop the psycho from taking his or her gun into a building and doing something.
That's absolutely correct. And so what we really need to do is, number one, is lock our doors. And so, again, I'm going to go to these large facilities, universities, schools, daycare centers, churches. There's large gatherings. Access control, lock our doors, if you're going to university and you're studying writing and publishing, there's no reason that you should have access to the biology department. There's no reason that you should have access to the building that has resources for athletics. It's access control. We lived in an age years ago where we used to go shopping in the malls, and those malls are buttoned up and no longer exist. Everything is bought online. And now we're living in a new time where it's not safe anymore. And wherever large people are gathering, we need to restrict our access. And it's on those people to restrict the access to these properties. So when I'm looking at universities, when I'm looking at Michigan State University, I'm shaking my head. Why did that unknown person have access to the university? How much does it cost to lock a door, Art?
Yeah.
They're saying that these young adults and these children in our schools are the most valuable thing in our schools, in that we possess. Is it? Well, let's lock our doors. Let's add more security to these schools, because this is not going to be changed. No one is going to find a cure for mental illness or people that are going through life issues. So we can do things. And we have an opportunity coming up here May 2nd to vote on a ballot here in Saginaw Township to give our school district the money to make a difference for our schools. Let's I'll do without something, $23 a month. I can afford to pay $23 a month to make sure that we have a world-class school district. I used to live on Duane off of Valley near Mackinac and Weiss. And several years ago, it was about 8 years ago now, they went through and they paved that road. Well, when they paved that road, I had to pay a little bit to have that road paved. And I remember sitting down with Mr. Braun, and Mr. Braun and I were talking about this. And he said, you watch and see, when we pave that road, you're going to see people painting their houses, changing their landscaping, investing in their community. And absolutely everything that he said came true. And so this is us investing in our community.
It's interesting in the township millage request. the objections I've heard are not that the schools aren't needed. We know we need a new high school. That old building was designed eons ago.
Yep.
They don't like the amount, 242 million all at once. That seems to be the big sticking point.
You know what? They're probably not asking for enough.
Well, that may be true. Saginaw found that out.
Yeah.
They asked for 100 million, and now all of a sudden it's going to cost more because supply chain and cost of goods and inflation, all that stuff.
Yep.
So it may be possible.
Yep.
I don't know. All right. So
yes.
So someone finds themselves in a facility, and what should they be looking for to protect themselves?
So for those listeners that are out there, if you can, find a piece of paper and a big piece of paper and a pencil, because I'm going to give you the recipe how to survive an active shooter event. And I've never given this away before, but I can give some of this stuff away because getting in front of people is very difficult. This cup of coffee that I'm drinking from cost $1.69 at McDonald's this morning. That same cup of coffee at the airport costs $6. This training that I do is not available unless you consult with me. And so since not everyone can consult with me, I'm just going to give it to you. So an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And so anytime you visit a large venue, and the larger the venue, church, school, concert venue, university, the more important it is for you to do this recipe. Number one, when you enter the venue, identify a place of dominance and observe the venue. So I'm sitting in a room right now. I want to put my back to the wall and observe the main entrance. So this is the place of dominance where I can sit and see the entrance to this room. There could be 200, 300, 3,000. The larger the venue, the more important it is to do this. Find a place of dominance, sit in that place of dominance, put your back to the wall, and observe the main entrance. That's number one. Okay, sitting in a place of dominance. Number two, identify secondary exits. So currently in this room that we're in, there are no secondary exits. If this room was large enough to accommodate 30 people, we're not all getting out that door. And so that's why it's so important to identify a secondary exit. So number one, sit in a place of dominance. Number two, identify the secondary escape option if necessary. And number three is when you're sitting in that place of dominance, identify cover and concealment. Now, cover and concealment is a military or law enforcement tactical description of something that could protect you. Cover is something that stops bullets. Concealment is something that will get you out of sight. And so currently in this room, I don't see anything that's covered. There's concealment, so I can get behind tables and desks and chairs, but there's nothing that's going to stop a bullet. And something that would stop a bullet would be a bookcase full of books or a large metal safe or something of that nature. And so this is a vernacular that people need to recognize and train their children in, cover and concealment. And so as we're sitting in this place of dominance, identifying the secondary options, looking for cover and concealment.
All right, hang on.
Yes, sir.
We're going to take a break, and we will continue with this lesson when we return here on the Art Lewis Show.
At Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, an evening with James Taylor.
Oh, I've seen fire, I've seen rain.
Friday night, June 23rd, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
How sweet it is to be loved by.
Tickets start at $36, on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office and etix.com.
Oh, Mexico, you got a friend.
James Taylor, Under the Stars, June 23rd at Soaring Eagle Casino.
In front, nice move by Hayes, what a goal! Silky mitts on the doorstep from Hunter Hayes.
Hey, Spirit fans, this is Dylan Clark, radio voice of your Saginaw Spirit. After a thrilling Game 7 victory against the Flint Firebirds, the Saginaw Spirit are off to the second round of the OHL playoffs, where they meet the rival Sarnia State. Game 3 is this Tuesday, April 18th at the Dow Event Center. A 7:05 puck drop that you won't want to miss. Tickets went quickly in the first round, so don't wait. Go to SaginawSpirit.com to get yours today.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, It's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Rocky Moselle with StarRegistry.com. Since we were children, we've been told to reach for the stars. It was great advice. Now it's a great gift. Name a star after someone. For $54 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit StarRegistry.com, we will name a star after someone very special to you and send an incredible personalized gift. The new star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Call the Star Registry, 800-282-3333 or visit StarRegistry.com for the hottest gift.
I have two dogs, Sam and Bailey. Both are golden retrievers. Poor Sam, he was a mess. Always itching. His paws were soaking wet all day from just constant licking. He had bald spots on his back. I just don't like putting shots and steroids into your dog all the time. DINOVITE.com. Dinovite is nutrition. Probably 2 weeks after he started Dinovite, I started seeing great improvements, and today 99% of his issues are non-existent. It's amazing stuff. Since Bailey has been 12 weeks old, he's been a Dinovite dog, and he has zero issues today. He won't eat his food without Dinovite. When I get out the Dinovite, my dogs actually salivate, like I'm getting them a treat. They drool over it. Dinovite is the best thing you can do for your dog.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 866-88-BIBLE. That's 866-88-BIBLE. 866-88-BIBLE.
The WSGW Broadcasting Studios are sponsored by the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center in Midland.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, talking to Henry Reyna from Secure Solutions about being safe in active shooter situations. So let's continue with your recipe for safety.
Yeah. Again, the world is no longer safe. So we've got to have a planned response. And my plan starts off with number one, when you're in a large venue, sit in a place of dominance, observe the main door that you just came in, your back is to the wall, and you're looking at people, you're looking at things, you're sizing people up. Number two, you're looking for a secondary exit. Number three, you're looking at cover and concealment. And number 4 and 5 rolls together. You got to have a plan. If violence strikes, if you're close enough, you're going to move to attack. If you're far enough away, you're going to move to escape. And the whole idea here with this plan is you're in a gunfight. You have to move. If you're not moving,
you're a target.
You're a target. And this is what most agencies and people are not being trained in. What's the proper movement? It's situational based on every venue, the situation of that incident, and how populated it is, and on and on and on. But you've got to have a plan of movement. And that's where my training goes. What's the proper movement? Well, let's start talking about this. What are the possible tools? And they're on the back sheet of that document I just gave you. Should you consider verbal de-escalation? Possibly, maybe. I'm not going to say no to anything on the table. But if verbal de-escalation is not a consideration because it's ongoing violence and people are being lost, we need to do something else. Do you know how to take a gun away? Do you have pepper spray? Do you have a flashlight? People don't think much of it, but a flashlight and pepper spray is a very, very powerful tool. There's been several incidents that have been stopped dead in their tracks because someone had a flashlight and a canister of pepper spray. Now, I would be fine arming my 12 or 13-year-old daughter with a can of pepper spray. What about you, Art? Yeah, absolutely. So, giving tools and options to people is a possibility. And so, I've had the question in corporate and in schools, what's the best tool for everybody? And it's the one that you have the most training in. But a lot of these professional environments, we need simple tools like pepper spray or a flashlight or a place to lock, and understand that if it's close enough, we're going to do something to mitigate it, we're going to attack, or we're going to escape. But we've got to have real training that just doesn't give us a vague idea. How do we really get ahead? What's the proper things here? Some of the training that I get into is stop the bleed. So when I do a security assessment of a property, I'm looking for a first aid kit, fire extinguisher, and a tourniquet. I'm almost 98% of the time when I get to a venue, there is not a stop the bleed kit or a tourniquet. And in these dangerous times, the larger the venue, the more important it is to have that stop the bleed kits and tourniquets. I mean, I've personally given CPR dozens of times. I've only saved one person's life. I know if I had enough tourniquets, I could save everyone in the room. And so these little things will go a long ways in making everyone safer. Restrict access, give people real training that makes a difference.
Let's talk about that, because CPL holders have to be trained.
Yes.
And but that training, as good as it is to get you through the requirements, it's not good enough to teach you what to do in an active shooter situation. And I really wonder how many CPL holders that are walking around armed would have the wherewithal to pull that gun and use it if they had to.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level of training, and you better believe it, Art. I would say 99% of the people in the state of Michigan that are certified to carry a concealed firearm has gone through the basic training and have not done much more than that. I offer one gunfighting school a year where I actually really teach people how to run and gun, move and shoot, use cover and concealment, and draw from a holster, and on and on. And, I train dozens and dozens of people every year, maybe even hundreds. And I will get maybe 3 or 4 people that will go through a gunfighting school once a year.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't happen.
Because I've always felt if you're going to carry it, be prepared to use it. You hope you never do. My father was a federal agent for all of his working life. Carried a gun every day, never drew it once in anger.
So you went through my training class, and one of the resources that I gave you after the class was to go watch this YouTuber. He was called Active Self-Protection is his YouTube channel, Active Self-Protection. And John Sakria, I think his name is, goes into use of decision-making and talking about this to get your mind right. What is the proper use of cover and concealment, where you're at in the mall, the shopping center, and on and on. And you've watched some of those videos. He does an excellent job of really continuing your education after the class, doesn't he?
All right. We'll take a break, come back. We got a caller waiting for us. We'll take that call when we return.
Liberty Bridge is your gateway to work, school, downtown, and the Midland Street Business District. Enjoy all the benefits of Liberty Bridge for free until April. Save time and fuel by taking the most convenient route to your destination. Avoid congestion at other local bridges and experience Bay City's newest, most reliable bridge. Brought to you by local union workers and Bay City Bridge Partners. For your passport to the lowest rates once tolling begins, get your BC Pass before April at BayCityBridgePartners.com. We are all anxiously awaiting the approach of spring. Longer, warmer days, trees budding, perennial flowers blooming, and the return of our state bird, the robin. What we're not looking forward to is rain, flooding, thunderstorms, and of course, power outages. Oh no! No one wants to be caught off guard with a sump pump problem during a heavy downpour. Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning can help you plan ahead to avoid a flooded basement. They sell and install primary electric pumps as well as water and battery-powered backup pumps. Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning can also bring you back to normal from a wet basement with maintenance or replacement of a flooded water heater, furnace, or boiler. Trust the experts with your plumbing and heating mechanical needs in your home. You have a family doctor. Do you have a family plumber? Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, 989-792-8738, or find them on the web at reamerplumbing.com.
Any way you spell it, Reamer means quality.
You're no stranger to working in the dark. But with John Deere Operations Center, you can see your farm with more clarity than ever. That's because Operations Center provides insights you can access anytime, anywhere, allowing you to analyze your results, share with your advisors, and make a plan to improve yields, grow profits, and gain ground. See what you have to gain at johndeere.com/operations center.
Have you ever asked a farmer if they talk to their fields?
Promise me you'll grow nice and tall. You got that? No, you were corn in 2013, not 2014. Hope you were thirsty. You think Cheryl's still mad at me?
After all that talking, sometimes it's time to listen. Your field has a voice, and John Deere Operations Center helps you hear it. Unlock every acre's full potential by using both agronomic and economic data. Visit johndeere.com/operations center and unlock your operation.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you can start speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español. Gracias, Babbel. Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Join us for the Core Ale Rocks Pub Crawl in Bay City on Thursday, April 20th. Right now, you can secure your seat for half off. It's usually $50, but you are getting yours for $25. We will have 2 limo buses taking us to 5 different bars: Scotty Sandbar, Beer Garden, Cafe 13, Sporty's Wing Shack and Smokehouse Pinconning, and Village Inn. There are a limited number of seats, so snag your deal right now. It's at RocketGrabPlus.com.
The Art Lewis Show, weekday mornings at 9 on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, we're back with you. In studio with us, Henry Reyna from Security Solution. Talking about safety and active shooter situations and the like. And we have a caller. Carol is in Hemlock. Carol, you're on with Henry. Good morning.
Good morning. First off, I'm going to make a comment. It's not the gun that kills people, it's the bullets. So why can't they limit, first off, the number of clips you can buy with 100 bullets in it or however many? If you go hunting, you can only have 5 shells in your gun, in your clip. So why can't they make a central registry for people so that if you buy 5 clips at this store, you can't go down the road and at the next store and buy another 5. They should have a clearinghouse and limit the number of shells that people are buying.
All right.
I mean,
Well,
if you want to go to the,
hang on, Carol.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, first of all, Carol, thank you for your question, and that kind of leads me back to what we were talking about during break. All these laws that restrict guns and ammunition and the ability to carry them and all, they're not going to make a difference in our society, because wherever these tools are restricted or completely banned or outlawed, the wrongdoer will find another
Black
tool.
market, whatever.
They'll get in a car, they'll get in a van, they'll take a machete, they'll take, there's always another tool. And this comes right back down to someone's mental
Yeah, come back to
condition.
that again.
We're right back there, and there's no sight in the future where that's going to be cured.
Yeah, and I would point out, Carol, the old saying is guns don't kill, people do. And that's
Right.
as true for the bullet as it is for the gun.
But like the man that killed, 56 people in Las Vegas, how many guns and bullets did they find in the room that he was in? Had they limited the number he had access to, he might have killed 12,
No,
but
let me-
wouldn't
let
have
me-
killed 56.
Let me rephrase that for you. If they limited the number of guns he had legal access to.
But this kid that just shot all these people just at the bank, he
Well-
legally bought that gun.
Yeah. Ask yourself this, though. Chicago has some of the toughest gun laws in the country and some of the highest gun crime. How do you think that gels?
Right. But in Chicago, they're shooting one or two. They aren't shooting 15 or 20 people at one time. What I'm saying is these mass shootings that we're having, where they go in and shoot 20 or 30
Right.
people in a minute,
All right.
that would eliminate some of that if they limited the number of. And if you want to go to the shooting range and shoot your guns off, that's fine. You get your clips with your 100 bullets in it at the shooting range. And before you leave, you account for all of these bullets so that you're not going in and buying them and taking them home with you.
Carol,
All right,
I can appreciate your question and your wisdom behind your manner, but you're really missing the point here where all that stuff is taken away. They're just going to find another tool, another mechanism, an airplane to fly into the ground
Well,
of a crowd of 5,000 people. There's just
they'll
always
find
going to
that they'll find that clip illegally.
be. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Granted, they will, but you're not going to have an 18-year-old go out normally. And your bad guys are always going to find a way.
All right. Carol, I appreciate the call. Thank you, dear.
Okay, thank
Have
you.
a good one. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
John is in Saginaw. John, you're on with Henry. Good morning.
Good morning, Art. Good morning, Henry. Thank
Morning,
you
John.
for being Art's guest today. Earlier, you mentioned how this change in the law is not going to do much to affect the background checks. I'm going to put the position out there it's going to do nothing because I actually went and read the law, which I figure is what everyone should do who's actually interested in this topic. I don't think 1 in 10 people who's out there with a sign and saying we need tougher gun laws even knows what's in this law. Because when it says universal background checks, what it says is if Art, you've got a really interesting hunting rifle and I'd like to buy it from you, or maybe you owe me a few $100 and you say, well, John, I don't have the money, so I'm going to give you this rifle. It wants a background check on that transaction, but I'm supposed to initiate it as the quote buyer. I'm supposed to go visit someone like Henry, who's a chief law enforcement officer somewhere, and get the license and bring it back to Art, and Art's going to sign 3 copies. And if we don't do that, it's a $250 fine. That's it. That's all that's supposed to happen.
Yep. Yep.
Is that going to happen? Because at the state level, even at the federal level, no one has a piece of paper that says Art owns this rifle and John wants to buy it. So there's no paper trail. It's not going to happen.
And you alluded to it yourself. It's not going to do much. And so the safe stores, the background checks, the red flags, all that is stuff that you tweak it. Great. It's going to make our community a little bit safer, but it's not going to solve the problem of active shooter events. It's not going to stop it.
All right, John, I got to run.
Okay.
Thanks.
Talk to you later.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
And we will be back after these notes.
Retirement is more than a newly discovered free time. It's a time to reflect on how you'll be remembered and your legacy. It's important to make proper arrangements now. Tune in to WSGW every Sunday at 8 a.m. to your Financial Empower Hour with Jason and Carl Kreiderman from Great Lakes Investment Advisors in Midland. Learn how to structure your retirement savings to increase the value of your estate and help leave the legacy you want. Plus, call Great Lakes Investment Advisors today, and they will include a complimentary Legacy Maximizer at 989-835-7203. That's 989-835-7203. This commercial shall in no way be construed as solicitation to sell securities or advisory services of any state other than Michigan, or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through Great Lakes Investment Advisors, a registered investment advisor in the state of Michigan.
I love being a part of the Action Team. It helps me help other people. It helps me feel good.
Being a part of the team always feels good. Go for it. Don't even hesitate.
For more than a decade, Major League Baseball players and action teams of high school students have been working together to train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
Once you get there and realize how much you can change someone's life, it's one of the best feelings in the world.
Just that simple act that takes 5 or 10 minutes of your time is making a difference and is transforming someone else's life.
All-star Giancarlo Stanton and Chris Capuano join Action Team captains to make a difference in their communities. And you can too.
Just try it. Just go to one event, one Action Team event.
If we all show up together, that's what it's all about. It's not just one person, it's a group, it's a team.
It's been incredibly rewarding for me. It'll just make you feel so good about yourself.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
For more information, go to actionteam.org.
I'm 62 years old, and I've lived through in my adult life several presidents of both parties who promised me prosperity. So far, none of them have provided it.
The Ramsey Show.
Not one.
And they won't.
Every single thing that has happened to Sharon and I that's positive is due to God's blessings and due to other people that have helped us and due to our hard work and ingenuity and our refusal to quit.
The Ramsey Show with Dave Ramsey. Weeknights at 9 on WSGW.
A consumer had contacted her health insurance company to discuss adding her soon-to-be-born child. Unfortunately, she was provided misinformation and was faced with having to pay 2 separate deductibles in one plan year. The Department of Insurance and Financial Services was able to assist, saving her about $6,000. DIFS is here to help for free. For more information, call 877-999-6442. Sponsored by DIFS and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Peter King in Orlando. How does a young Air National Guardsman at an out-of-the-way base get access to highly classified information? The Pentagon, the Justice Department, and now Congress are all asking. With 21-year-old Jack Teixeira about to make his first court appearance for accessing and posting documents on social media. Here's correspondent Catherine Herridge.
Former Secretary of Defense Mark Esper told CBS News that the security questions are urgent.
You can't think of a good reason for a 21-year-old to have access to this information.
No, I cannot think of a compelling reason, and I assume Secretary Austin and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs Milley are probably asking those same questions.
Just into CBS News, drug maker Danco Laboratories has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to reject lower court rulings restricting the availability of its abortion pill, including a federal appeals court's decision that says patients can't order it by mail. That ruling would go into effect tomorrow if the Supreme Court doesn't issue its own today. Capitol Police say they've arrested a man with an assault rifle before he got to the building. Here's CBS's Stacey Lynn.
An assault rifle was confiscated this morning at an off-site delivery facility that screens vehicles before they get on the grounds of the Capitol. Capitol Police spotted the gun with an extended magazine partially wrapped in a blanket in the back seat of a Ford pickup truck. The driver, 57-year-old Michael Donahue from Maryland, was arrested. There isn't any evidence yet that shows Donahue was targeting Congress or the Capitol complex.
Some possible ethics challenges for Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Days after it was reported that he had received expensive gifts and vacations from Republican donor Harlan Crow, he faces questions about selling real estate to Crow. CBS's Jan Crawford.
CBS News can confirm ProPublica is reporting that Crow's company purchased properties belonging to Thomas and members of his family in his hometown of Savannah, Georgia. The undisclosed 2014 deal included the purchase of a home and 2 vacant lots for more than $130,000.
The property in question is Thomas's mother's house. In Llano County, Texas, libraries will stay open as a court battle continues over whether or not local officials can remove books they say are inappropriate. Lisa Bellamy was among local residents weighing in at a county commission meeting.
I don't think that a child should be exposed to homosexual or heterosexual content that is explicit.
And while commissioners say they're concerned about sexual content, the list of banned books includes one that refers to the KKK as a terrorist group in its title. Wall Street after the opening bell, the Dow is down 15. This is CBS News.
Hire with minimal effort and maximum success with Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
What's the most important part of a retirement plan?
Income is king because we all need income. And if you don't have an income plan, you don't have a retirement plan.
That's Kevin Ray, financial coach at Insight Folios. Kevin tells his listeners every week about the importance of income planning, minimizing taxes, and strategies to lead a worry-free retirement. Learn all about that and get your own complimentary financial review by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
"Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis."
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM. A rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I have 2 dogs, Sam and Bailey. Both are golden retrievers. Poor Sam, he was a mess. Always itching. His paws were soaking wet all day from just constant licking. He had bald spots on his back. I just don't like putting shots and steroids into your dog all the time. DINOVITE.com. Dynovite is nutrition. Probably 2 weeks after he started Dynovite, I started seeing great improvements, and today 99% of his issues are non-existent. It's amazing stuff. Since Bailey has been 12 weeks old, he's been a Dynovite dog, and he has 0 issues today. He won't eat his food without Dynovite. When I get out the Dynovite, my dogs actually salivate, like I'm getting them a treat. They drool over it. Dynovite is the best thing you can do for your dog.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dynovite from DINOVITE.com.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 59 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Burchett. A Gratiot County man reported missing in February was found dead. 65-year-old John Vandermark of Ithaca was last seen February 14th. Gratiot County Sheriff's deputies discovered his body Wednesday afternoon in Hamilton Township, several miles from his last known location. Police say Vandermark had been dead for some time. Foul play is not suspected. However, an autopsy is planned to determine the cause of death. A man from Flint has been sentenced to nearly 12 years in prison after pleading guilty to 2 violent carjackings. Federal prosecutors say 21-year-old Darren Welch admitted to pointing a loaded gun at a woman pumping gas in Grand Blanc Township July 23, 2021, and demanding her keys. Then on September 12, 2021, Welch asked the woman for a ride to a nearby apartment complex, and when they arrived, he punched and kicked her repeatedly before leading police on a high-speed chase in her vehicle and then crashed into a utility pole. Welch pleaded guilty to 1 count of brandishing a weapon while committing a carjacking and 1 count of carjacking itself, and was sentenced to 141 months in prison by a federal judge. Authorities say a 58-year-old woman crashed into a tractor late Wednesday evening in Vienna Township. According to the Genesee County Sheriff's Department, the woman was driving north on Clio Road when she crashed into a tractor near Farron Road around 8:45. While the tractor operator was reportedly uninjured, the woman was pinned inside her vehicle and had to be cut out by rescuers. She was taken to a local hospital where she was later listed in good condition. The crash is currently under investigation. WSGW News Time, 10:07.
You know, I'm starting to worry about all this crime lately.
I was worried too, so I made sure I was prepared.
How'd you do that?
I took my CPL class at Applied Training Solutions. They covered everything I needed to know to get my concealed pistol license. You can never be too safe.
Applied Training Solution is Michigan's premier training facility. We offer both live fire training and digital simulation training. Whether you're looking for your initial training or advanced training, see us at simurange.com or ATS Midland on Facebook.
In front, nice move by Hayes, what a goal! Silky mitts on the doorstep from Hunter Hayes.
Hey, Spirit fans, this is Dylan Clark, radio voice of your Saginaw Spirit. After a thrilling Game 7 victory against the Flint Firebirds, the Saginaw Spirit are off to the second round of the OHL playoffs, where they meet the rival Sarnia State. Game 3 is this Tuesday, April 18th at the Dow Event Center, a 7:05 puck drop that you won't want to miss. Tickets went quickly in the first round, so don't wait. Go to SaginawSpirit.com to get yours today.
WSGW News Time, 10:08. The weather forecast is coming up. Saginaw County Central Dispatch is just now reporting Buena Vista Fire is on the scene of a structure fire at Washington and 24th. Washington will be completely shut down for the time being while firefighters battle the blaze. Again, that is the Buena Vista Fire Department on the scene of a structure fire at Washington and 24th, with Washington shut down completely for the time being. Please try to find an alternate route when you're heading in that direction. Ford is looking to beat an electric vehicle speed record. Here's the details from AutoBeat reporter Jeff Gilbert.
Ford showing off an electric drag racer, the Mustang Super Cobra Jet 1800 with 1,800 horsepower and a lot of updates, including to the transmission and battery system. The goal is to break the record set by the vehicle's predecessor in 2021. That's 171.97 miles per hour at a quarter mile in 8.128 seconds. Now, the Cobra Jet name is significant because that was the name of a lineup of gasoline-powered drag racers from Ford. Working on projects like this lets car makers like Ford learn things that they can put into passenger EVs, and also shows that electric vehicles can have a lot of performance. Jeff Gilbert, the Michigan News Network.
A Lansing area man who pleaded guilty to assaulting law enforcement officers with a dangerous weapon during the January 6th Capitol riot has been sentenced to 3 years in prison. A federal judge in Washington, D.C. said prison time is needed for Logan Barnhart, so it deters others. Before he was sentenced, Barnhart said he was bored during the pandemic and thought attending the rally would be a good excuse to get out of the house. Federal prosecutors say Barnhart grabbed a vulnerable police officer and dragged him face down into a mob where the officer was beaten. Along with prison time, Barnhart will also have to pay about $5,000 in fines and restitutions. WSGW News Time 10:10, and now for WNEM First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro.
Here is your WSGW weatherology forecast. High temperatures pushing up into the lower 80s for today under lots of sunshine. Winds out of the south and southwest at 5 to 10. Then for tonight, partly cloudy skies dropping back to a low of 54. For Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine, still well above average temperature-wise with highs approaching 80. For Sunday, showers and storms developing especially into the afternoon, back to 76. And then much cooler, looking ahead to your Monday, rainy and windy conditions, a high of 46. For Tuesday, upper 40s. I'm meteorologist Michael Carroll with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently 71 degrees.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. From around your block to around the world, The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com. The Art Lewis Show is presented by Westside Decorating Center.
Hi, we're back with you. Brought to you by Westside Decorating Center, 5789 State Street in Saginaw. Newly expanded showroom, new product line. Stop in and visit them today. We're going to talk about a number of things this hour. First of all, I want to thank Henry Rayner for being with us last hour. And this hour, we'll talk about a number of topics with this particular guest. One of them is something happening tomorrow called Saginaw on Stage. Been around a long time. We say good morning from the Downtown Rotary Club to Bill Harmon.
Good morning, Art. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good.
How'd you get the chore of being chair of the Saginaw on stage?
Oh, wild statement there.
You out of the room when they appointed you? Is it?
Yes, exactly. Well, I was actually kind of like in charge of the performers last year, and the original group that had been doing it for 16 years before that had kind of moved on, and so we needed people to be involved in it, and I kind of stepped up to the plate and got involved from a standpoint of working with the performers last year, and then took on the chairmanship this year.
How long has Saginaw? I was trying to think about this.
So
How
this
long
is our
has Saginaw on stage been around?
18th year this year, but because of COVID, we didn't do it for 2 years.
Yeah.
So therefore, I mean, this would have been our 20th year.
I remember the very first one because Question Mark and Mysterian were here, and Dick Wagner was playing, and it went forever.
And Question Mark, I mean, Bobby wants to play next year, but we filled up this year, so we ran out of stages, and we've got 67 actual acts.
And
this
where
year.
are you doing it this year?
At the Saginaw Club, downtown Saginaw.
I'm trying to figure out how you're going to get 67 performers in those several
No,
hours.
150 performers, 67 acts.
acts.
Yeah. Okay. So up on the third floor, we have the main ballroom. And so we have a stage at the west end of the ballroom, but we have a small stage off to the side. So the big stage goes for 50 minutes, then we do 20 minutes on the small stage. So we just alternate back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. So we have a total of 10 acts up there on the third floor. On the second floor, we take a couple different rooms, what's called the dining room and what's called the living room. And we have bands facing each other in those two rooms. And we bounce back and forth between those two rooms every 45 minutes. And that gives plenty of time for the next band to set up. So we got 9 of them there. And then in a small room in the back of the building called the Centennial Room, we have 17 performers performing. And it's not necessarily just an individual performer. It might be a couple or whatever performing in the singer-songwriter showcase, which is amazing. These are only people who have written songs and are singing their own songs. And then on the first floor, we got actually 4 stages, one on the front porch, which is going to start at 3:30 as people start arriving, which the doors open at 3:30. She'll play until 4:30. And then we've got an area by the pool table, and we've got an area by the dining room. And between those two, we've got another 9. So that's 10 on the first floor. And then we added something new last year called Tribute to the Artist, which the idea was to talk to or have local performers perform music that kind of influenced them in the past for somebody who had died in the past. And so last year we only had 10 of those, but this year we found an actual stage back in the grill room area, and we have a total of 23. Now they're only doing 10 minutes, but that's enough for 2 songs. And so when I say 23, that's 23 acts there. And some of them are duets, some of them are singles, and all kinds of different things. So we shove as many people possible in there, and we still have people that want to play and couldn't play this year.
All right, so let's talk about tickets. Doors open at 3:30. The event runs from 4 to 11 p.m. It's a pretty lengthy event.
7 hours.
And so tickets are how much?
Tickets are $30, and there are 3 beneficiaries this year that we're giving the money away to. The Well of Saginaw is one of them. It's a new men's shelter. Restoration Community Outreach is a homeless shelter for men. And then the third one happens to be Friends of Hoyt Park. They're in the process of trying to put together a new pavilion in the upper level of Hoyt Park. So the $30 helps contribute to that, but it gets the attendee 1 drink ticket for free, because we've got a sponsor that sponsors the drinks. And so they're helping with that. And you can buy tickets online, SaginawOnStage.com. And as of a few minutes ago, we'd already sold 49. It just keeps rolling in online. Of course, that's part of the reason I'm here. Then we have tickets available at Isabella Bank in Saginaw and Kathy Toffel Agency. Our tickets available there. Of course, Rotary members have been selling like hotcakes.
So the question is there a limit? Because the Saginaw Club obviously is not a huge venue.
No, it's not. But because there's 3 floors, people can wander back and forth between
Yeah.
the floors. So our limit is basically 250. And last year we hit, even after with the possibility of COVID coming and all that kind of stuff, we still hit 180 some last year. Attendees, that's in addition to about 50 volunteers. And last year, I think we had 123 performers last year.
Food available?
Food is no longer available because it's the Saginaw Club and they had to have reservations by Tuesday, but they're doing a buffet and that's there. And unfortunately, because they need to order the food in advance, they gave a cutoff date of Tuesday. But the performers will get some food because they're working and that kind of stuff. But
So
next
eat
year,
before you come, or
eat before you come.
Can
or-
you leave, come back?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Leave and come back. Not a problem. Plus, tickets are available at the door, too. So it's not a problem. I mean, I've already had people that I ran into last night said, hey, I need some tickets. I said, I don't have any with me. I ran out. And so just come to the door and pick them up at the door. $30 a person.
All right. We'll be back with Bill Harmon, talk about that and some more. I want to take just a moment here to talk about my friends at McDonald Ford. I didn't get to do it last hour, so I will do it this hour. In Freeland, Tom Jr. and Tom III are the owners of McDonald Ford, a great dealership that has more than just Ford, because in their pre-owned lot, they have all kinds of marks from Chevy and Jeep and Chrysler. And I've seen foreign vehicles. I've seen Audi. I've seen Mercedes-Benz and lots of pickups. You're going to find it all at McDonald Ford. All of those pre-owned vehicles, by the way, went through a 100-point inspection, so you drive away with confidence. If you have a problem, they have a great service department for small and major repairs. They have a drive collision center for body work, and they have a quick lane center for quick oil changes and the like, all at McDonald Ford. They're located at 6790 Midland Road in Freeland, and you can stop at any time and become a member of the McDonald Ford family. They'd love to have you on board. It's a great dealership, friendly people, great vehicles. You'll find it all waiting for you at McDonald Ford, M47 in Freeland.
Homeowners, Bob Wilsey of SunTech Wind and Solar here in Standish. Are you looking for energy independence for your home? You should be. Michigan utilities are closing their remaining coal plants soon, resulting in more power outages. Home solar with battery backup not only provides power during the grid outage, it reduces your light bill every day the sun shines. Unlike a generator, it just sits there. I'd love to show you how it all works. Come visit us at 319 South Main Street in Standish or visit us at suntech-windsolar.com.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
If you have certain chronic conditions such as heart disease,
asthma,
diabetes, and you're 19 years of age or older, 52,
36,
42, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I'm going to ask my doctor
about getting vaccinated.
with Prevnar 20.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
JP Morgan Chase shares are up 6% after the nation's largest bank reported a higher profit and revenue in the recent quarter. CEO Jamie Dimon says the U.S. economy continues to be on generally healthy footings. Consumers are still spending and have strong balance sheets, and businesses are in good shape. Though Dimon says the storm clouds the bank has been monitoring for the past year remain on the horizon, and the banking industry turmoil adds to these risks. PNC Financial Financial, a super regional bank operating across 27 states and Washington, D.C., reported stronger earnings than forecast. Its stock was beaten down over the last month, but it is higher this morning. And Wells Fargo and BlackRock Financial's earnings were also upbeat. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosolda, invested in you.
Democrats just want to win the next election, and they're trying to do it with ceaseless money printing. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon. It is critical to protect your retirement right now with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get a free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. There's nothing to buy and no obligation at all. Text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get a free info kit on gold.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
Time to play WSGW's Baseball Bucks, presented by Westside Decorating Center. Right now, you can qualify to win the daily cash prize of $1,000 by entering this baseball word online at WSGW.com. And the word is home, as in home run or home plate, HOME. Alpha Media Company-wide contest must be 18 years old to play. One winner chosen each day. Complete rules at WSGW.com. Baseball Bucks, presented by Westside Decorating Center on WSGW.
Guys, fellas, men, are you Roman ready for the weekend? Right now, generic Viagra, aka Sildenafil, is just $4 per dose at Roman. Just complete a free online visit with a U.S. licensed healthcare professional. If medication is appropriate, Roman sends what you need in discreet packaging with 2-day shipping. Generic Viagra from $4 at Roman. Go to ro.co/bed. Do it today and get 20% off your entire first order. That's ro.co/bed.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Hello, Michigan. I'm John Gonzalez.
And I'm Amy Sherman. We've got big news.
We're back! And you can join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as we once again go behind the mitten.
We'll take you to every corner of the state, sharing the stories that make Michigan great.
Find a hidden gem or a new favorite spot that might be located right in your hometown.
We'll go above the bridge and taste our way across the state.
Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 100.5 and 790 News Radio, WSGW.
All right, we're back with you. Saginaw on stage tomorrow at the Saginaw Club. Doors open at 3:30, runs till 4 to 11. And something like 60 acts, Bill Harmon. It's a lot of talent.
Oh, absolutely. And they're available in the Saginaw Tri-City area. I mean, we have people coming from Bay City, Saginaw, and a group from Midland. We've had multiple groups from Midland last year. Yep. There's amazing talent in this area, and people don't realize it, but there is.
All right. We're going to talk about a couple other things here, and then we'll come back to Saginaw on stage toward the end of the program. One of the things Bill Harmon has been involved in for a long time is railroads. Not model railroads, but big railroads. He owns a former Via Rail park car, the Algonquin Park, which is a dome observation car. He's certified on air brakes and works on cars that Amtrak has sold to individuals. Helps out with Lake State Railway cars when they need work. So he's carried railroading to a new level of intensity, as they say. What got you into that? What made you want to spend money to buy the Algonquin?
Oh my gosh. I got to be crazy to do that. You know, to own a passenger railroad car, it's like owning a boat. You know, you just keep funneling money into it. So I don't know. I back in the 80s, I had a couple companies in town and made some money in the computer industry.
Right?
Yep. And of course, you made all kinds of money back in the 80s and early 90s. And then that kind of like, you know, margins dropped off and, you know, they started selling them direct and all that kind of stuff instead of through stores. So it's like, okay, got to have a unique product that you can sell and make available. And so I loved trains from way back. And I was involved in the 1225 steam engine group out of Owasso, been involved in that, been involved with the Blue Water organization that was things here in Michigan. And it's like, okay, you know, is there a possibility of making this into a business? And I came up with some ideas and originally was going to set this thing up to run around the United States behind Amtrak as a timeshare. And the idea was very good, but there's issues with running stuff on Amtrak, as anybody who runs on Amtrak knows.
The biggest issue is cost anymore. They've just their cost per mile through the roof.
Went through the roof. Back when I first put the business plan together, it was $1.85 a mile. It's now $4.15 a mile.
Yeah, plus all the switching charges.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. To empty the toilet system cost you $1,000.
Yeah, it's right.
Yeah. So Algonquin Park ran in Michigan. We did some trips, including up to Petoskey over Labor Day weekend in
Well,
2010.
but before it ran, you had to buy it.
Oh, I had to buy it.
That was an experience.
Oh,
too,
that was
wasn't
an experience. It took 6 months to get it from Canada down to the United States. And then, of course, we renovated it here in Saginaw at what is now Lake State Railway. And did all kinds of work on it and had problem after problem with windows and stuff like that, but got it going. And then we started running in 2006 in Michigan, and then 2006, 2007, and then of course then there's train related issues. And so then we ran it again in 2010, 2011. So we did a lot of different things in Michigan, but because of various issues in Michigan, I said, hey, I can lease it to Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And they run it on their Hiawassee River Rail Adventure that runs up in the mountains. So a dome car sitting way up 16 feet off the ground, you can see this beautiful, beautiful scenery. And there's a spot where you can see 3 states from up on top of this mountain. And so tvrail.com, if you go there and look up the Hiawassee Loop, there's a video that shows the car running down there. And so it's been at least down there for a while. And I have a great relationship working with the TV Rail people down there and Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum. And I also do work with them. So, you know, we kind of hand in hand work on things.
Who's responsible for maintaining that car now?
Well, luckily I wrote a contract and they're responsible for it for the contract.
Rail cars can be expensive to fix. You know?
Yeah, unfortunately, they've had a few problems with the air conditioning compressor. It's a little bit warmer down in Tennessee, and because it's a dome car, like in the summer, midsummer, it's like 80 plus degrees outside, and it would be like 125 degrees inside if it didn't have a really nice air conditioning system. But it does. So, but they maintain that, so it's great for me.
Parts available for those things?
Oh, geez, we don't want to get into how much parts cost for that kind of thing. Like $350 for a door handle.
What?
Sorry, Art. I just had to make your day there. Yeah, there are parts available. There are a few people. My friend Ben Butterworth out of Indianapolis has stuff and stored in a location in Santa Claus, Indiana. So I've been working down in Santa Claus. I've been working at Beech Grove, Amtrak's facility in the Indianapolis
Now, how
area.
does that work? Amtrak lets you in to do the brake work on cars they've sold? Is that?
Yeah, exactly. What the deal is I have to be, certified and stuff like that. But I have to be approved by Amtrak. And so I've been working down there for about 2.5 years on railroad cars. First, a car I bought and then turned around and sold. And then another car I bought that I'm working on down there. And because everybody knows I'm certified for air brakes, I have to let them know a day in advance when I'm going to be there and send in an email and that kind of stuff. Cause it's, restricted just like any place else. Sure. And so I have to let them know that I'm going to be there. So in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be there on a Friday and then the following Monday and Tuesday. So we send in an email, tell them, hey, Bill Harmon's coming to work on these cars. And what it is, these are surplus cars that Amtrak has decided to sell. And they've had like 4 auctions in the last 3.5 years. They just had 2 auctions back this past fall. And so there were a total, I think, 18 cars that were sold in that auction. And because Ben lives in Indianapolis, other organizations who may have bought those contact him and he says, hey, Bill, these are the cars we got to work on. So I've done about 15 air brake tests since January already.
Wow. That many cars sell. There's that many people that want to buy a railroad car in these days and age.
Well, a lot of them are excursion operations all around the country.
Okay, so they're established.
Organizations.
Right, I understand that.
And there's very few that are running them on Amtrak anymore because of all the issues we were just talking about on Amtrak.
It's prohibitive, cost-wise.
Yeah, and then there was the Iowa Pacific,
which is what Amtrak wanted, by the way.
Oh yeah, of course.
They didn't want to be hauling your car around.
No. They want to make it difficult for us. But
so let me ask you this: if you have a private car and you want to ride that car, is Amtrak the only game in town, or can you latch on to freight, or what can you do?
Well, unfortunately, based on the requirements of the freight railroad, you're not allowed to ride in the car when it's being pulled by the freight railroad.
See, that was my next question.
Yeah. So we can move the cars by freight, but
you can't use the cars in excursion fashion.
No, not normally on a freight. You have to, there has to be an excursion operation set up and running in that area in order for a freight railroad to do it. Now, that's not like we can't do that. I mean, we put together, the Blue Water Organization put together that thing to Petoskey Labor Day weekend, 2010, worked with Great Lakes Central. They were great to work with. We had a great time. All the people at Great Lakes Central were perfect. Everything worked out fantastic. And that's a freight railroad, but it took a year to work on that contract.
But there, all you were doing was, you're in effect leasing a tow service, right? I mean, you're using their locomotive to move your train.
Yeah, we contracted with two locomotives to move the train. We actually leased one of the cars from them that we used. We had a 9-car train and went up to Petoskey. And it was kind of interesting in that we'd get ready to go and everything. We had people from all over the country come to Owasso and get on the train there. But one of the people that happened to be on the ground looked up at the engine, and all of a sudden we had 5 engines pulling our trains. Like, why we got 5 engines pulling our train? We only asked for 2. Well, they were deadheading some engines up.
They were figuring, what the hell? They might as well use your train, huh?
Right. So it was kind of interesting, though. I was like, 5 engines?
That's kind of overkill.
Yeah, absolutely. But it worked out great for them because they needed to get those engines up to Cadillac, so it worked.
All right, let's talk about some other train things that were in the news. East Palestine. Let's start there.
Oh my gosh. The freight railroads. Okay. So one of the problems with freight railroads is that freight railroads have, because of margins in moving stuff on freight, they have kind of cut back on number of personnel involved, and they're running longer and longer and longer trains.
Oh, yeah.
And so, it used to be that everything was less than a mile. And then it became that there were a mile. Then it became that there were 7,000 feet. So there are trains running in the country, not in our area, but they're almost 3 miles long. And, you can do this with the equipment because the engines are big enough to do that. They put 2 at the front. They sometimes put 1 or 2 in the middle and then a couple at the end.
Yep.
And, you can do that and you can control these because there's controls for it. But, there are all kinds of standards that have to be met. And the issue with the thing in East Palestine is that, and this is public knowledge, that there was a bearing problem, what's called a hot box, and it tripped the hot box detector, and they stopped the train to double check. And it wasn't a problem with the engineers or anything. They did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And they double checked it. But the fact was, it took so long for somebody to get out to the site that, it cooled off by then, and the train was told to go ahead and go. And it did. And then it had the problem. The engineers already knew that there was a problem with the train before the accident. So they were already putting on the brakes and everything. So, but it was such a catastrophic mechanical problem that it caused the derailment.
So what happens with a hot box? It fractures?
It depends on what it could be. It could just be the bearing tightens up and it doesn't spin. And so therefore the wheel doesn't spin, in which case it just slides. In this case, it got so hot that it broke.
That's what I mean. Yeah. And that's what caused the train to go off the rails.
Right. Exactly.
So, all right, we're going to take a break. Come back. We'll talk more with Bill Harmon after these notes on the Art Lewis Show.
Hi, this is Jessica. Have you given your child the opportunity to get a healthy financial start? By opening a U13 account at United Financial, your child can start learning the benefits of saving right now. We offer a variety of perks for our young members too. A special 6-month certificate of deposit, additional rewards for saving, and for good grades. Hey teens, did you know we have an account just for you? Open your first checking account and debit card at the credit union, and we will also share important tips on how to best manage your new account. Visit our website for details and see just how easy it is to open your new account with United Financial Credit Union.
Federally insured by the NCUA.
We're where you work, where you live. United Financial Credit Union. Serving the Valley community.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Thank you for being with 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
All right, we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show, talking to Bill Harmon, Saginaw on stage tomorrow at the Saginaw Club. More on that coming up. Talking about trains and railroads, but you don't know when to sit still. So you were also involved in tornado recovery in Sullivan, Indiana. Tell us about that.
Well, I was involved in the thing up in Sanford and helped up there. And so, I'm part of Rotary Club. And so Rotary as an organization loves to help people. And so when I first heard about the tornadoes that touched down, and they touched down in multiple cities, Little Rock being one of them, and Crawford County in Illinois, Sullivan, Indiana was probably the hardest hit in Indiana. And then another place south of Indianapolis. So I said, okay, as part of Rotary, I give back. I give back to the community. I said, okay, what can we do? And I got U-Haul to give me the beautiful people out at U-Haul on Bay Road gave me a trailer for $15. I got a couple Rotary people to help me. I got some of the players that are actually singing and doing stuff in Saginaw on stage to load lumber and stuff like that, and took off Saturday night, drove all night long, was down there at 8:00 in the morning on Sunday morning, 2 days after the tornado. And because I hadn't been involved in Sanford, I kind of knew what to expect. And so I just kind of connected with people down there, including the mayor and his wife, and the Rotary Club down there, met up with them, talked to them about what it is. I helped, pick up water bottles and fill up, a semi-trailer full of water bottles. I helped cut down trees and things like that. And then, but I realized long-term is what they're going to need. And so at some point in time, they're going to need X amount of furniture. And so because I helped with Sanford, I kind of knew a lot about that. And so I said, okay, let's put together something. Everybody's willing to give back if they got help before, and the people up in Sanford jumped right in on it. Dolores Porty is the village mayor up in Sanford. So she said, hey, I got a location. So the Sanford Hardware, downtown Sanford, has decided that they'd be a pickup location for us. We're going to try and get a trailer there, but short term, they actually have a physical location. So the Hours of Sanford Hardware, you can go there starting this Sunday through April 30th. And drop off furniture. Now we're talking furniture, and we're not talking clothes. We're not talking water. They got plenty of that kind of stuff. We're talking long-term things like couches and chairs and kitchen appliances and stuff like that. Same sort of thing. Hopevale Church in Saginaw, step right up. They're one of my churches that I've been going to for a while, and they said, "Yep, we'll have our South Campus location on
Shattuck.
On Shattuck." Yep. And they're willing to do that. More details coming on that. Hit me up on my Facebook page, Bill Harmon on Facebook, or text me 989-860-3900. Just let me know if you're interested in donating, and I'll give you further details about pickup locations. We expect to have another one in both Bay City and another location in Midland.
Please make it serviceable furniture.
It's got to be serviceable. Yeah, it's got to be
Stuff
serviceable.
that's all broken and you just want to get it out of the house.
Right. Right. I already got like a bed, 2 couches, 2 chairs, and something else already. I'm taking down on Tuesday.
And I noticed on your notes here something about a music event down there on January 10th.
Well, you kind of know that I'm involved in music with Saginaw on Stage. So yeah, just a little bit. So it's like I said, hey, look, I'm doing this fundraiser up here in Saginaw. We made $10,000 last year to give away. Let's see if we can put something together on down there. So June 10th, they're working on putting it together. There's actually a discussion and a meeting with people from Dollar Tree next week about seeing if they can be one of our sponsors for the whole thing. And I need 30 bands down there for June 10th. So we're working on putting that together, working with bands in Evansville and
local talent.
Talent down there. Not only the talent in the city of Sullivan, because there's a lot of local talent in Sullivan itself, but also Evansville, Indiana, and Owensboro, Kentucky. There may be some bluegrass people playing. I've got a couple of country bands I'm working with down there to try and put together a fundraiser. We believe, we're still working details, but we believe it's going to be noon till 10 p.m. on a Saturday.
Whoa. That's a big show.
Yeah. Well, what we'll do is we'll have multiple stages. I already talked with a company up here that might even bring some sound equipment down for us for free. So, we pull these kind of things together.
Yeah. There's not enough hours in a day for you, Bill.
Not for me. No, that's true.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
All right. We're talking to Bill Harmon. Saginaw on Stage coming tomorrow at the Saginaw Club. We'll have more on that when we return here on the Art Lewis Show.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
See what all the buzz is about, and you could win up to $5,000 cash. It's High Five every Saturday in April at Saginaw Eagles Landing. There are hourly drawings each week from 5 to 9 p.m. for the chance to go High Five and win up to $500. Then at 10 p.m., find the Queen Bee to win up to $5,000 cash. So be there for High Five at Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit saginaw-eagleslanding.com for complete rules and details.
Unlock your best lawn yet with innovative zero-turn mowers, lawn tractors, walk-behind mowers, and more at Wolfiles Ace Hardware, your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer. Like the Cub Cadet Ultima Series, zero-turn mowers that are engineered to give you the ultimate all-around mowing experience by delivering next-level comfort and premium cut quality, as well as superior speed and control. And only Wolfiles, your local dealer, can offer this. Wolfiles Ace Hardware, 5818 State Street, Saginaw, where customer service still exists. Open 7 days.
It's the sound of a good deal. That's Music to your ears.
If you own a small to medium-sized business that kept employees on payroll through COVID, you may have a big cash refund waiting for you. The Employee Retention Credit is a tax credit of up to $26,000 per employee. And now, more businesses than ever qualify. The experts at RefundsPro.com specialize in cutting through the red tape of qualifying for this government program. Most of their refunds are over $100,000. Even businesses that have received PPP funds may be eligible. And there are absolutely no fees unless you receive a refund. So there's no reason not to apply. If your business experienced shutdowns, limited capacity, supply chain challenges, or reduced revenue due to COVID, you likely qualify. RefundsPro.com has already helped hundreds of businesses. So don't lose the refund you're owed by missing the deadline. Get started today with a free 5-minute questionnaire at RefundsPro.com. That's refunds with an S, pro.com.
I have 2 dogs, Sam and Bailey. Both are golden retrievers. Poor Sam, he was a mess. Always itching. His paws were soaking wet all day from just constant licking. He had bald spots on his back. I just don't like putting shots and steroids into your dog all the time. DINOVITE.com. Dinovite is nutrition. Probably 2 weeks after he started Dinovite, I started seeing great improvements, and today 99% of his issues are non-existent. It's amazing stuff. Since Bailey has been 12 weeks old, he's been a Dinovite dog, and he has 0 issues today. He won't eat his food without Dinovite. When I get out the Dinovite, my dogs actually salivate, like I'm getting them a treat. They drool over it. Dinovite is the best thing you can do for your dog.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
Has this ever happened to you? Your significant other says, "We've got to redo the kitchen," and you break out into a cold sweat?
Well, don't worry. It's a common condition, something we call needless remodeling anxiety. And we've got the cure. Heck, we are the cure. Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Whether you do it yourself or direct it yourself, we can help you keep your project on track and on budget.
So join us this weekend for the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
The Money Pit, Saturday mornings at 9 on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you. You're on the Art Lawyer Show talking to Bill Harbin about a number of things, railroads, tornadoes, and Saginaw on Stage. Saginaw on Stage returns tomorrow, the 15th, at the Saginaw Club. Doors opening at 3:30, and the show runs from 4 to 11 p.m. with about 60 different groups and artists, all waiting for you at Saginaw on Stage. And 18 years, is that what you said?
This is the 18th year of
it.
the thing, which it would have been the 20th if we hadn't had COVID because of that. But yes, it's been around for a while. We've had some of the named acts that have gone on and made it big.
And it looks like you might get recognized.
I might get recognized. It's interesting because I helped put it together last year, and the Review magazine is having Review Music Awards coming up, and Saginaw on Stage was nominated to be one of the and we're down to I think 5 or 6 finalists, and so for best musical fundraiser events.
There's a category for everything.
Yeah, Bob Martin's with Review Magazine's got a lot of different categories. It's amazing. I've been to the Review Magazine Awards many years, and so this year it's on April 30th, Sunday, at the West Town Theater in Bay City, down on Midland Street. But we got nominated from last year's fundraiser that we did for Saginaw on Stage, and so we'll see. I mean, hopefully, we'll win. Well, we'll see.
All right, so Saginaw on Stage, for those that don't know, and originally it started out just Saginaw groups. Now it's expanded, right?
Well, we have a lot of good talent in Saginaw, and actually 2 or 3 groups when I talked with them last year about being on, they said, no, we've been at Saginaw on Stage for 5 years or whatever. They said, go find some other groups. Well, that's been part of my job, is to find up and coming groups. Matter of fact, last night I saw a duet in Bay City. That's their first type of thing that they were doing. Their singers, fantastic. So I, invited them for next year, because we already have next year's a date already planned out. But so we try to find new and upcoming acts that are in our area, and we've expanded it to include Midland and Bay City, because we actually have attendees coming from as far away as 60, 70 miles, because this event, has so many fantastic artists. So, Monica LaRose is a fantastic, international performer. She did Saginaw on Stage in the past. So Greta Van Fleet played at Saginaw on Stage way back when. So, all these people have played in the past, and they are just amazing performers. And so we've got more talent now.
It really is a tribute to the area and the artists that are here. There are a lot of very fine musicians in this area.
Absolutely.
There was a tribute to Leeds Bird at the Bay City Players.
Yes.
And they brought back a lot of the talent that performed in the shows originally. And it was amazing how many people still had the chops and how much talent there was.
Yeah, and Kevin Cole was involved in that
Kevin
whole
was
thing.
the music director. Yeah,
exactly. And unfortunately, we couldn't get Kevin because
he's on the road. Actually, he's playing with symphonies right now.
Yeah, and matter of fact, his newest one he just got finished writing is debuting tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't have him.
I talked to him before he left, and he was getting ready to leave 2 days after the Leeds Bird thing.
Right. Exactly. So
yeah, he's on an extended road trip. Then he'll be home.
Right, exactly.
So, all of these bands that you pointed out, they volunteer their time, right?
Oh, they volunteer. All the bands volunteer their time. We have about 50 actual volunteers that are involved in this, that are members of the Rotary Club of Saginaw. We have some volunteers from a couple other organizations in town. Rotary Club of Saginaw sponsors the girls' troop of BSA. Those girls came last year, and they were the coat check kids. They loved it last year. They jumped on the opportunity to do it again this year. So all these people volunteer their time. The performers volunteer their time, but they know they're going to get the recognition. I mean, we had a band that was playing there last year, and they got hired because they were playing there, and people saw them and said, hey, we want that band for our event. So they hired them off of being at Saginaw on Stage. So we put together this year's 32-page program, which lists all the bands that are playing, all the stuff about the sponsorship stuff, and all the people that have helped contribute. But it also lists every single one of the bands that are playing, and all the members of them, and how people can get a hold of those particular bands. So, you can read up about the performers and their history and all that kind of stuff, and it's really kind of cool.
All right. It is kind of a cool event, actually, and it's a long night, folks, if you plan to stay for all of them. Some people come and just go see their bands. Others stay for the whole thing. And 4 to 11 is pretty healthy run.
Right. And we actually have a band that wasn't going to be here this year because they played last year. They were so good. They actually were working on a Las Vegas contract, and it kind of fell through. But We the Infamous is amazing band. We moved them from second floor last year to third floor. They're the last band playing. Stick around. They are amazing. So
cool.
Another new group. Yeah.
And Tornado Recovery, you're collecting furniture.
Collecting furniture.
And it's going to be from April 16th to the 30th.
Right. That's the dates for right now for that short time period, because I'm going to make a run down there the first week of May. Now, this is obviously a long-term type of thing. So we're working on multiple locations that we would store furniture up in Michigan and then take it down there. And of course, that's one of the issues, is that where do we store stuff once it gets down there? And they're working on that. I'm working with a couple different people down there as to where they've got a place to store it. They've got that all worked out. So it's not a problem. And then there are about 150 homes that got just wiped off the map. And so they'll get insurance to cover the houses and that kind of thing. So it's not an issue from that standpoint, but that insurance won't cover everything.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're looking at getting the long-term issues helped with that. Plus, of course, the music event is a kind of relaxation day. Just sit around and relax, listen to the music. There'll be food there. There'll be vendors there. It's just that's a kind of neat kind of thing on June 10th. So we're working on putting music together for that group and pulling bands and things from the southern Indiana and Kentucky area.
Glad you have nothing to do.
I have nothing to do. So I leave on Tuesday to drive down to that. Oh, and then I got to stop at Amtrak and work on some train cars.
Yes.
Yeah, while I'm down there and do some air brake testing.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Give everybody the website where they can get tickets.
Tickets, SaginawOnStage.com. And I just saw a couple tickets being purchased a few minutes ago. Go out there and pick them.
All right. We'll talk to you later. We'll be back to close out after these notes.
Wouldn't you like to have the peace of mind in knowing that you have protected the important things in your life, like your family and your assets, against the high cost of the nursing home, the IRS, and probate?
I'm attorney Jerry Reif, and I practice elder law, estate, and asset protection planning. There are 3 myths about Medicaid laws that you should know. Myth number 1, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your house. That's not true. Myth number 2, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 5 years to qualify. That's not true either. You can avoid this problem. Myth number 3.
All right, good to see you.
Assets to protect them. That's not true either. You can keep control of your assets and protect them.
Are you prepared? Is your estate planning current? Are your assets safe? Are you Medicaid ready? Listen, learn, and talk to a professional who has made it a career of helping families and businesses protect their assets. Attend Jerry Reif's Are You Prepared workshop on Wednesday, April 19th at Capocco Community Credit Union in Saginaw at 2 p.m. To register, call 989-790-1461 or register online at jerryriflawyer.com.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Hello, Michigan. I'm John Gonzalez.
And I'm Amy Sherman. We've got big news.
We're back! And you can join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as we once again go Behind the Mitten.
We'll take you to every corner of the state, sharing the stories that make Michigan great.
Find a hidden gem or a new favorite spot that might be located right in your hometown.
We'll go above the bridge and taste our way across the state.
Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 100.5 and 790 News Radio, WSGW.
That'll do it for the Art Lewis Show for this week, for this Friday. We thank you for joining us. We thank our guests. Coming up on Focus, we're going to look at something coming up at the Bay City Players we'll be telling you about. All of that is ahead, but the news is first from CBS and the local report. Michael Purchase in the WSGW newsroom to bring you up to date on the region and the state. And then we will be back with Focus. Have yourself a great day.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Steel.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The Biden administration and an abortion pill manufacturer have just asked the Supreme Court to preserve access to a commonly used pregnancy termination medication. Stacey Lynn has our top story.
The Justice Department and the maker of mifepristone, Danco Laboratories, have asked the Supreme Court to intervene and put on hold the lower court's ruling. The High Court could override the FDA's decision-making if it doesn't turn back that ruling, limiting the use of the most commonly used abortion drug in the country. If we don't hear from the justices today, the new restrictions, which include blocking mail delivery, shrinking the window women have to take the drug, and requiring in-person doctor visits, will go into effect tomorrow. Stacy Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
The 21-year-old Air National Guardsman from Massachusetts, suspected of leaking hundreds of classified government documents, has just been arraigned at federal court in Boston. Jack Teixeira has been charged with retention and transmission of national defense information and willful retention of classified documents. Correspondent Catherine Herridge.
He's accused of leaking hundreds of pages of classified military documents and CIA updates, including on the war in Ukraine, some revealing how the U.S. gathers intelligence on both allies and adversaries.
A federal judge has ordered Teixeira to remain in jail at least until his next court appearance Wednesday. Flights are finally getting off the ground again at Fort Lauderdale Airport. Operation shut down Wednesday after massive rain triggered once in a 1,000-year flooding. WFOR TV's Nicole Lauren is at the airport.
Here inside the terminal, you can see tons of people here this morning getting their bags checked and then walking through TSA. The airport is truly stressing to contact your air carrier before you arrive at the airport. Tons of people were telling me that they were getting notifications sent to them to their phone about the cancellations and further delays.
The family of a mentally ill man in Georgia is demanding an investigation after he died at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta. Their attorney, Michael Harper.
There is no excuse for a mentally ill inmate to be left alone in a jail, abandoned to die.
LaShawn Thompson had been arrested for misdemeanor battery. Photos show his body full of sores, believed to be from bed bugs and insects. Rural Llano County, Texas, will not shut down its public libraries after all. Local officials considered closing after a federal judge ordered them to return banned books. Llano County Judge Ron Cunningham.
The library will remain open. We will try this in the courts, not through social media or through news media.
Banned books included one about passing gas, another by trans reality star Jazz Jennings. This is CBS News.
Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com, STIHLUSA.com.
Let the sun shine in with new window coverings. This is Sonia with Westside Decorating Center. We offer a variety of soft shades and blinds that protect against damaging UV rays without disrupting your view. Ask about our slumber shades if you prefer a complete room darkening experience. Call our experts for a personal consultation at 989-793-6182 or visit our newly remodeled showroom, Westside Decorating Center, 5789 State Street in Saginaw Township.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a RoofMax shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money, guaranteed with RoofMax, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call Ben today at 859-6751.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you can start speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español. Gracias, Babbel. Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom. This is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 65 degrees at 11:05. Good morning. I'm Mike Perchuk. Several animals were killed in a fire in Bay City Tuesday. The fire occurred in the 2000 block of 4th Street, the home of the nonprofit Furfest Rockin' the Rescues, an animal foster shelter. At least a dozen cats and 1 dog died in the fire. The shelter was owned by the Goki family, who operated it from their home. The couple tried to save as many animals as they could, but the fire was too intense before it was noticed. The building was a total loss. as was an attached garage, a vehicle, and a neighboring house caught fire as well. The GoFundMe page has been set up to help the family and the shelter, and they're also accepting donations to benefit rescues like dog and cat food, pet bedding, cages, crates, and other items. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Governor Gretchen Whitmer has appointed Saginaw County Clerk Vanessa Guerra to the Hispanic Latino Commission of Michigan. The commission was created to develop a unified policy and plan of action to serve the needs of Michigan's Hispanic and Latino people. The law directs the commission to advise the governor, the legislature, and the office concerning the coordination and administration of state programs serving the Hispanic and Latino populations. Guerra previously served 3 terms as the state representative for Michigan House District 95. She earned her Juris Doctor of Law at the University of Detroit Mercy. She's been appointed for a term commencing April 13th and expiring December 31st, 2026. Guerra succeeds Monica Reyes, whose term has expired. WSGW News Time, 11:07.
A 401k can be an important asset for many Americans' retirements. You've made contributions to your 401k every single paycheck for years. Tune in Sundays at 8 a.m. on WSGW for your Financial Empower Hour with Jason and Carl Kreiderman from Great Lakes Investment in Midland. They will give you information like how your 401k's tax advantages and portability may enable workers to build sizable and important nest eggs. But its flexibility can also be costly if you aren't aware of potential mistakes. Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a guide that will teach you how to avoid an IRS early distribution penalty and full taxation on rollovers, the little-known weapon you can use, your most mistake-proof option, and more. Request your guide today at 989-835-7203 or visit GreatLakesInvestmentAdvisors.com. This commercial shall in no way be construed as solicitation to sell securities or advisory services of any state other than Michigan or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through Great Lakes Investment Advisors, a registered investment advisor in the state of Michigan.
WSGW News Time, 11:08. The weather forecast is coming up next. Authorities in Kalamazoo are warning about a deadly batch of fentanyl, which has caused 5 deaths and it led to more than a dozen overdoses in a 24-hour period. The Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety is working with the Kalamazoo Valley Enforcement Team and other police departments on the investigation. The cases were reported Wednesday and yesterday. A new survey attempts to answer the question if it's better for couples to have a joint bank account or separate ones. Here's correspondent Tony Ortiz with Michigan News Network.
The answer depends on what age you are. Couples where both partners are between the ages of 18 and 26 are, according to the survey from Bankrate.com, more likely to have separate bank accounts. However, couples where the partners are 59 or older are twice as likely to have a joint bank account. The reason, according to the survey, it's easier to keep track of the finances with just one account to worry about instead of 2. Now, one interesting fact that was revealed by the survey, nearly 63% of couples ages 18 to 26 admit that they have committed what they call financial infidelity, which means that one partner has spent more than they admitted to the other partner, or that person has credit cards that their partner doesn't know about. Meanwhile, only 29% of couples that are 59 or older that answered the survey have committed that financial infidelity, and that's down from 35% when the survey was conducted just a few years ago. I'm Tony Ortiz for the Michigan News Network.
Legislation to ensure students are learning cursive as a type of penmanship has been approved by the Michigan House of Representatives. The bill, introduced by State Representative Brenda Carter of Pontiac, calls for the Michigan Department of Education to develop or adopt cursive curriculums. Carter says by passing the bill, children will develop better memories and improve cognitive function while connecting to past generations. A third piece of proposed gun reform legislation, Extreme Risk Protection Order laws, or ERPO, has been approved by the Michigan House. The legislation would allow a gun to be taken temporarily from an individual if a court finds they are an immediate risk or threat to themselves or others. There was more than an hour of debate on the House floor before the bills were approved on party line votes. The bills now go to the House-Senate Joint Committee before heading to the governor for signature. WSGW News Time, 11:10. Here's WNEM First Alert meteorologist Matthew Monroe.
Here is your WSGW weatherology forecast. High temperatures pushing up into the lower 80s for today under lots of sunshine. Winds out of the south and southwest at 5 to 10. Then for tonight, partly cloudy skies dropping back to a low of 54. For Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine, still well above average temperature-wise with highs approaching 80. For Sunday, showers and storms developing especially into the afternoon, back to 76. And then much cooler, looking ahead to your Monday, rainy and windy conditions, a high of 46. For Tuesday, upper 40s. I'm meteorologist Michael Carroll with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Right now, it's 68.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com. Focus is presented by RoofMax. That's RoofMax with 2 X's.
And you can find out more about the safe, affordable, and easy alternative to asphalt shingle roof replacement at GetRoofMax.com. RoofMax, as you heard, with 2 X's. Or you can call Ben at 989-859-6751. Talk to Ben about RoofMax. Coming up at the Bay City Players is a production called Little Shop of Horrors. We're going to find out about that this morning because we have a couple of guests with us. First of all, it's director, and I'll have you guys introduce yourselves. It's much easier that way because there are 2 of them.
Sure. Thank you, Art. My name is Gordy Levine, and I am the director, and with me is my assistant director, partner in crime, Larry Jacobs.
Art, good morning.
Takes 2 to do this production, huh?
Yeah, well, pretty much.
And a few more.
So let's start with the basics, the Little Shop of Horrors. When is this production going to be presented?
Yes, our show opens April 28th, 29th, and 30th, and then the following weekend, May 5th, 6th, and 7th. Tickets are going pretty quickly, and we're really excited, my whole production team, about selling out these shows pretty quickly. Tickets can be gotten at baycityplayers.org. And you can also call the box office Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at 989-893-5555.
And we'll remind everybody of that later. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say the curtain opens at 7:30 for the Friday and Saturday shows. It's a 3 o'clock matinee for the Sunday shows.
So tell us about Little Shop of Horrors. What's it like?
Little Shop of Horrors. It's based on a movie that Roger Corman did back in the late 50s, early 60s. If you remember Roger Corman, he was just the master of the B movies, is how they put it. Yeah. And he came up with this movie. Actually, it was one of Jack Nicholson's first roles. He played a patient of a dentist. And from there, it became an off-Broadway hit. Then it became a movie with Rick Moranis, Steve Martin, Ellen Green. And then from there, it's been redone on Broadway countless times. And it's been available to community theaters. We did it here back in the 1990s, and we thought it's time to bring this gem back in front of the people of the Great Lakes Bay Area.
Now,
I may add that the book and lyrics were written by the great Howard Ashman. Howard Ashman did pass away from AIDS in 1991, and we do honor his memory with this production. Music written by the great Alan Menken.
It is a musical.
Yes, it is. It is a musical. It's filled with 50 style songs. It's interesting that with Ashman and Menken, their songs, they also did The Little Mermaid. They did some other Disney shows. And if you listen into the song, sometimes you'll hear a little snippet. You'll say, oh, that sounds like Little Mermaid. Or, oh, that sounds like something from Beauty and the Beast, or whatever it might have been, which is kind of an interesting thing to listen for.
Some of the great songs are Suddenly Seymour, which is a top song, and also Somewhere That's Green.
Right off our lips. I mean, they just roll right off. Well, tell us, if you can, what's the storyline?
You want to go ahead and try that?
Sure. The story is about a hapless florist, Seymour Krelborn, and Seymour works in a flower shop on Skid Row, along with his love interest, Audrey, and they work for Mr. Mushnick. And the story is about a plant that Seymour raises from babyhood, and this plant grows up to be wicked and evil. And I may add that our plant package was ordered from New York. The original designer of the plant package, and there's 4 different plants, was designed by the original designer from the 2003 revival of Little Shop of Horrors. So we have Broadway level plants for the show. There's many stars in the show, but I really call the main plant, the big girl, Audrey 2, the star of the show.
Now, when you say plants, are these costumes? Or are
yeah,
they
well, they're puppets.
Puppets.
The plant that he finds he was given it from an old man in Chinatown near Skid Row, and he brings it in. What you find out later, and I hope I'm not giving too much away, is that this plant is an alien plant. And
of course.
Yeah, well, yeah. And
that's the
plant,
horror.
well, yeah, the plant is set for world domination. And this world domination all begins in Mushnick's flower shop. But yeah, the puppet is a plant. The plant is a puppet. Yeah, either way.
How big a cast are we talking about?
We have 18 total members, a great ensemble, and some outstanding leading actors and actresses. I can tell you that Audrey is played by Brianne Dolney, and Seymour, Jared Kaufman. Other notable roles, Kurt Miller as Mr. Mushnick, Kyler Searing as Oren Scrivello, DDS. There's also 3 urchins, 3 wonderful women with just the best voices in the world. They're kind of like a modern Greek chorus, and they're kind of the conscience of Seymour as the show goes on.
And we'll take a break and come back and talk more with our guests, Little Shop of Horrors. We'll remind you of the timing and tickets and all of that when we return here on Focus.
At Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, an evening with James Taylor. Friday night, June 23rd, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series. Tickets start at $36, on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office and etix.com. James Taylor, Under the Stars, June 23rd at Soaring Eagle Casino.
Time to play WSGW's Baseball Bucks, presented by Westside Decorating Center. Right now, you can qualify to win the daily cash prize of $1,000 by entering this baseball word online at WSGW.com. The word this hour is pitcher. The pitcher stands on the pitcher's mound. Pitcher, Pitcher. It's an Alpha Media company-wide contest. Must be 18 or older to play, one winner chosen each day. Complete rules at WSGW.com. Baseball Bucks presented by Westside Decorating Center on WSGW.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do. But you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Warmer weather is hopefully on its way. At Associates in Eye Care, they want you to remember to wear sunglasses with UV protection. Most of us acquire 80% of our lifetime UV exposure before 18. So it's extremely important for children to have sunglasses with UV protection. Ultraviolet rays have harmful effects on the eyes that can lead to cataracts and macular degeneration. To make an appointment with Dr. Cox, Dr. Kazmarek, or Dr. Engel at their Saginaw or Hemlock locations, call 792-8686. Associates in Eye Care, caring for our patients as we would want to be treated.
For the best garage doors, service and more, call the Delta Door Doctor. He knows doors.
It's springtime. The temperature goes up. The temperature goes down. Just like your garage door, right? It doesn't. Sounds like you need the door doctor. Call Delta Door today. It might just need a little tune-up. Or maybe it's time for a new door or opener. Since 1939, they've been fixing garage doors, probably your parents, maybe even your grandparents. Homeowners have learned to depend on the Door Doctor for the right prescription every time. If you've been thinking about a new garage door, think no more. Remember, in their more than 8 decades, they've seen it all. The Delta Door Doctor. He makes calls even where you live.
For the best garage doors, service and more, call the Delta Door Doctor. Delta Door.
Delta Door, 2835 Universal Drive, Saginaw.
Hi, this is Mike Avery. You know you can hear my Outdoor Magazine show Sunday mornings, 9 till noon on WSGW. But now there's another option. Saturday morning, 6 till 9. Tune in for the latest outdoor news and information, hunting and fishing tips, wildlife and conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. That's Outdoor Magazine now on Saturday mornings too, 6 till 9, right here on WSGW 790 AM and 100.5 FM.
You are with WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
All right, we're back with you talking about Little Shop of Horrors coming to the Bay City Players. I was at the reception and tribute to Leeds Bird. That was a very special night for Bay City Players, wasn't it?
Thank you. It was beautiful. It was an honor to be able to be up on stage to honor Leeds. Leeds was actually my high school drama teacher.
Is that right?
yeah. Back at Garber High School, back in the late 70s.
You're that old?
Go figure.
We won't talk about age, guys.
All right, we'll let that go. But anyway, it was just a great honor to dedicate the theater to Leeds in his memory. I know talking to Margaret, his wife, it was just a beautiful thing to bring so many people together, and they came from all over. Chattanooga, Tennessee, from North Carolina, a couple of guys that have been on Broadway, one currently performing on Broadway, Ryan Vandenboom. And I just give so much credit to Kevin Cole, who has been a regular on your show whenever arts things come up. And Kevin just put together a wonderful, wonderful production.
You know, the thing that surprised me most, some of these productions went back into the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And some of the original performers still have the chops. That's what really surprised me sitting in the audience.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. We had a rehearsal. We only had a chance to have one rehearsal, and that was the night before the production because so many people were coming from all over. And the rehearsal took so long. And we realized it was because everybody was catching up with everybody else. Oh, I haven't seen you in years. And you'd look at some, I'm not sure who that is. And then you'd introduce, oh my God, we were on stage together. So that was another really joyful thing. And I think that was the important part of Kevin's message in putting it together, and also what Leeds was all about. When Leeds, wrote some of his different shows with Kevin, it was about the joy that you can find in theater and in life. And
those two guys were joined at the hip.
Oh, weren't they though? Yeah, they really were. And I've been very blessed to have been able to call them friends for years and years, and to be able to work with them. Leeds and Kevin and myself, we worked together on Godspell, the last production that we did at the Friendship Show a couple years ago.
All right, so let's go back to the Little Shop of Horrors. Okay. It will not be a horrible night.
We hope not.
Give us the dates again.
Sure. April 28th, 29th, and 30th. May 5, 6, and 7, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday nights performances start at 7:30, and our Sunday matinee is at 3 p.m.
And that's typical for Bay City Players, usually 2 weekends in a row, a couple of matinees and 4 evening productions, right?
Yes, it is.
Run. How long does somebody have to make a commitment in time to participate in one of these shows?
That's a great question. That's a great question, especially for on stage. The whole process, well, for Gordy, especially for Gordy, because he's been the main brains behind this whole thing. He started last year putting this together and getting a production team put together. For the actors, the rehearsal, the audition process, that started back in February. We started in early February with auditions and choosing a cast, and we've been rehearsing since then, 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah, this is a 9-week process, Art. And the first 2 or 3 weeks, I just had my musical director, Robin Nelson, working with our 3 urchins, the little Greek chorus, Ronette, Chiffon, and Crystal. And I can mention their names, Claire Patterson, Jude Renfer, and Jenny Phibbs. 3 talented women. So I took the first 2 weeks to do musical rehearsal with them and maybe a couple of other our leads. And then towards the end of February 26th, we started for real with real rehearsals. And we opened 2 weeks from today. I'm really excited about it. Tickets are going really well, and we're looking forward to having full houses.
Tickets are available again where?
BayCityPlayers.org. You can also call the box office 989-893-5555. Box office is open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m., but you can always leave a message, and our box office will be happy to return your calls.
All right, guys, good luck with it. Have a great show.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that.
Thanks for having us,
Art. If I just one more second, the Bay City Players is also having a volunteer recognition and open house on Sunday, April 23rd from 2 until 4. It takes a lot of bodies to put on a production. On stage, off stage, we could use all kinds of help. If you're interested in seeing if you want to do something, maybe not on stage, this would be a great chance to come over to the Players and see what other things people can do to make a production like this work.
All right, guys, good luck with it. Talk
Thank
to
you, Art. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us on.
You bet. Have a great day.
Thank you.
And we will be back to close
Save
out.
11% on all your outdoor storage needs right now.
Thanks very much.
Outdoor storage, hence keep your gardening tools, bicycles, and outdoor equipment